What's up guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over some new food Fakemon from my Australian based Fakemon region, aka Project Dreamtime. Now, in the last Fakemon video, I talked mostly about just generic Pokemon that really don't have any certain theme, like a psychic type chameleon or an electric type mosquito with a battery mixed into the concept. And a few other things, such as a rework of an old Fakemon that I showed in the Psychic type video, but for the most part pretty generic Pokemon that didn't really have any specific trend. However, in this video, these Pokemon will all have the same trend of hamburger. Starting off the video, let's kick it off with, shall we say, something a little bananas. Now, some of you have already seen this, but nevertheless, here we are with a banana Fakemon. Now, what exactly can you mix with a banana to create what we think could be a very funny and cool Fakemon that is at least somewhat relatable to the audience? Well, in my eyes, you could really do anything with this, but what I did personally was a crocodile. You don't really think about it until you realize that a crocodile is just about perfect for a banana. As I was designing this first stage, all I really wanted was a banana in the shape of a very cute and somewhat angry looking crocodile baby. Something that looked grumpy and showed a lot of personality with not even a lot of movement. I do imagine him moving from time to time once he gets really stressed out or angered, but as a whole, he's kind of a chill guy, you know? Stylization is something you really want to look out for here, because if I just made a crocodile that was yellow, or if I just made a banana with a mouth, it wouldn't have the proper stylization or characterization to make this the design that I really wanted it to be. Bananadile is really nothing more than just a funny Jokomon that I thought up and imagined would be a very fun and creative idea. Now, does that mean this couldn't be a real Pokemon? I mean, it could be. Now, would it be a bit of a stretch? Sure. But for the most part, I'm happy with it. So, yeah. Here's Bananadile, the banana bite Pokemon. Bananadile are often mistaken for fruit in Ausseos, as they appear to be a tropical fruit dangling from a tree. This is because of the way they hunt for prey, climbing trees and using their strong jaw to clamp down on the tree until an unsuspecting Pokemon swoops down and is met with a devastating bite. You're probably, by now, asking, well, what could you do to advance the concept? You could flip the peel back, you could make it shed its peel, heck, you could change the animal to a dinosaur if you wanted. Well, my thought process for the evolution of a banana reptile or banana crocodile was simply a banana crocodile, but more. So after going through ancient Australian prehistoric life, I found a species of crocodile called the Quincana, and it basically just looked like a giant crocodile. I was, however, thinking of adding some sort of ice cream butterfly or ice cream whipped cream based bird just to go off the symbiotic relationship between crocodiles and birds, and after going over it with my friends, I don't know, I just realized that would be a little too on the nose and too similar to my boy Skeledirge. Now, am I saying that repeating something that Pokemon has done in the past is a bad thing? By all means, no. Go for it if you really want to, but in my eyes, just to be more original, I'm going to stay away from that for this line. I was, however, leaning more into the dessert side of fruit in this stage, and I just really captured that sweet side of the fruit rather than the rotten side. Potassidile, the banana bite Pokemon. Potassidile are often found napping in wet marsh areas and must stay in water for most of their life to stay hydrated so the banana it uses as protection doesn't rot and peel off. While it's rare to get close to Potassidile, its banana peel skin tastes and feels like ice cream. This Pokemon is extremely dangerous and will not hesitate to snap anything or anyone in sight. You would probably think that this line is over, right? I mean, I made a 2-stage amazing banana crocodile with unique features, vibrant colors, and plenty of personality, and I turned this weird fruit into not only a meme, but also probably one of the most iconic Pokemon that will be in my Fakemon region. There's not much more I can do with this, right? Wrong. You see, there's endless possibilities for not only a fruit reptile or a fruit animal, but a banana itself mixed with an animal or reptile. There's endless possibilities with what you could do for a Pokemon. So I thought, what if I made it a a split evolution? No? Okay. Now, the design itself is a little bit lacking in color, which is the point, but I feel like I could do a little more with this, I will admit. I do like in this current design the use of the fangs and the somewhat rectangular boxy snake head, and the cool way that the hood matches up with the banana peel. I really do like that. Potassidile is what would be the natural evolution of Bananadile. The evolution that is happy and a little bit fierce. This evolution, however, would add a new poison typing. Needless to say, I feel like we can all agree that a split evolution, with one being a vibrant banana ice cream fruit, and then the other being a rotten banana peel, is the perfect banana split, if I do say so myself. Rotaserum, the rotten peel Pokemon. Rotaserum can come in many different colors and patterns, and usually have very bruised and rotten shed skin that it wears as protection. But on rare occasions, Rotaserum will shed its poisonous peel for a beautiful shiny yellow one that becomes brown within minutes due to the deadly venom emanating from its fangs and soft white skin. Whew! Wow, we're blazing through these, aren't we? What other food Fakemon, or I guess Jokemon, could we add to our Australian region? There's really endless possibilities. And the first thing that came to my mind, funny enough, was a lemon shark. There is a lot of things that you could do with a lemon shark. I mean, the concept is already there. It's a lemon shark. And there are species of shark that are a little bit smaller and much friendlier and are widely known for their striking yellow, vibrant scale skin color, I guess? Is it skin? So yeah, yellow scales. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty lit. Where were we? Oh right, lemon sharks. The concept for this is basically as average as you would imagine, but is also creative and fun as you would imagine. I didn't do much here conceptual-wise, but I did make sure to have the design be more than just a yellow shark. Having the fins mimic what looks to be cut up lemons and a little bit of seeds into the mix, with the tail being, rather than just a boring old tail fin, 2 lemon leaves, and then the big gaping mouth and the goofy zoned out stare, makes this one of the most iconic Fakemon that I will ever make, and I just have a feeling about that. I love this little guy so much, and I just love how derpy he is, to be honest. The design is obviously more creative than the actual concept itself, but I just love the idea of this being a lemon with a fish, and boom, you get Citrish. As for the reasoning behind the yellow teeth, no, it's not because he doesn't brush. All fish don't brush. In fact, I don't think most fish have teeth. But the reasoning is because citric acid is actually very bad for your teeth, and lemons are so bad for your teeth that they can actually start to dissolve that coating that your teeth have that makes them shiny. And once that dissolves, eventually it can get to your actual teeth, and then it can make them yellow. So, if you're constantly squirting out citric acid and it's running through your veins and body system 24/7, you'd assume that you'd have some pretty yellow teeth. Citrish, the sour Pokemon. Though they may be small, Citrish are very mighty creatures of the sea and can bite down on things so hard that a school of Citrish once sank an entire ship in minutes. It uses its leaf-like tail fin to guide itself across the sea, as it is used as a tiny compass to stay together in a group. As previously established, the overarching themes for this line is lemon and shark. This stage, though the concept itself is not much more creative, the design definitely gets a little crazier. When thinking about what I should keep and what I should change for the line, or evolution I guess, I really only thought of making it obviously bigger, but also a lot tougher and a lot scarier looking. The main thing I wanted to keep, however, was the zoned out eyes. That just makes the design, in my opinion. The tail fins and back fins and normal fins, dorsal fins, etc., a lot of fins, are all the same cut up lemons. I also added more depth, accompanied by some unique, striking, yellow bright patterns that I don't really know where I came up with those. I just kind of doodled and was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And one of my favorite parts of this design, not the patterns, not the fins, and almost as much as the soulless eye, is those amazing gills that are thin lemon slices. That has got to be my favorite part of this design. Citrark, the citrus bite Pokemon. When threatened, Citrark will generate a blast of citric acid around its foes to give it enough time to strike and slip away all at once. Citrark were once very common in the Alola region, but are now endangered there and are very popular in Ausseos. Though they appear violent and dangerous, they're actually very friendly and love to play with trainers and other Pokemon. One of my friends suggested that I make some more food Pokemon, and I said, okay, sure. So I looked around in Australian culture and I found something a little bit unique and very popular in that part of the world. You see, there's this thing there called Chicorolls, and I'd never heard of this before, but from my perspective, it seems as though it's a mix of a taco, a spring roll, an egg roll, a crab cheese wonton, and a burrito, all into one, just from what I've gathered. If I'm wrong, then Australians, you can comment, hate comments, it's okay. You have every right. Now, if I'm pronouncing this right, the Chicorroll is basically a crunchy sort of tortilla roll of sorts. And there's hot sauce, there's lettuce, there's vegetables, there's tomatoes, there's meats, and I think it's usually chicken, but it can be beef or other things like that. So, yeah, basically an Aussie version of a burrito. As funny and very cool as this may be, what exactly could I do with something as basic as an Australian burrito? I'm sorry that I keep calling it that, but I'm just trying to make a point. What could I do with this? Well, my first idea, funny enough, was a burrito dragon. Sorry, Chico dragon. What exactly do I mean by this? I mean a cute little baby dragon with fiery hot sauce eyes with lettuce frills, and it's wrapped into a crunchy burrito, or I guess Chico roll. As stupid as the idea is, I couldn't help myself. So I started sketching with an idea of a little grumpy dragon, and I'll admit the beta design is a little lackluster, but after some tweaking with the colors and changing the eyes once I got to line art, the design really came together more, and I'm much happier with it than I would have been. Drikoroll, the snap lizard Pokemon. Drikoroll are very stubborn and prefer to be left alone. If annoyed, it will jump up and use its sharp jaw to crush anything in sight. It is advised that young trainers stay away from wild Drikoroll. When imagining visuals for the idea of an evolution to this wild concept, I really just thought of, well, what about a giant chubby dragon, since I assume this thing is always eating and has the ability gluttony, and I really evolve the concept and the Pokemon. Now what I mean by that is, instead of just a grumpy little baby that is wrapped up in a crunchy roll, what if I evolved it so that it was a big chubby dragon that was sweet and not so grumpy, you know? I kept the frills and actually made them bigger and a much more important part of the design, and I made the tongue and mouth probably the focal point of the design, because the tongue is not only fiery just like the mouth, but it's also the origin for the other hot spots in the body. The drizzle along the tail and back, and spikes, and claws, and teeth, and even the eye are all part of the hot sauce part of the design, meaning that this all is part of the whole overarching fire theme. So yeah, basically the fire is just hot sauce in the sense. And the frills are lettuce, obviously, to represent the vegetable part of the design, and the meat is just the body itself, with the crunchy roll kind of being gone. I will admit, the design is fairly simple, but in my opinion, there's not really any negative space. I mean, I guess you could say that the leg in the back is a little bit lack of space, but for the most part, I feel like the space is balanced out even with the crazy idea that is behind it. And of course, the shiny is a reference to not only old depictions of medieval dragons being green all the time, but also because there is vegan versions of this, and because there is literally a sauce that goes on burritos and other Japanese dishes that is called the Green Dragon. Chiraxoll, the Sizzle Lizard Pokemon. Though menacing and large in appearance, Chiraxoll are quite sweet and love to play with others. It mostly sleeps, but will awake every few days to reheat its body system. The fiery drizzle on its back is said to be the spiciest, yet sweetest sauce you'll ever find. Well, that wraps up our food Fakemon for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to let me know in the comments which one was your favorite and what I should do next. As always, have an amazing day. Rex out. Peace.